Hey yo, it's Guido coming at you with a Tactics Talk. Thanks for tuning in and welcome back on this episode. I am in my 430 version 2, Object 430 version 2, Tier 9, Russian medium tank in a 357 middle tier, loaded into, what is this, Siegfried line on defense. It's an assault game. We're on defense. You can see that I'm headed down to the south flank. We're going to talk about being an anchor. And I don't mean the bad kind of anchor, the one that drags you down. But anchoring a flank, we'll talk about flanks, we're going to talk about anchoring a flank, and sometimes games where your damage isn't massive, but your influence on a certain part of the map is what it needs to be for your team to win. So I'm going to go down to the south. As far as flanks go, this is an interesting map because it does need all the flanks covered. There are some maps where flanks can be, I sometimes say ignored, but maybe not as invested as heavily into. This map, all three flanks need to be watched because if the assaulting team can turn a flank on this map, it changes the map quite a bit. I'm going to bounce off this T-32, unfortunately. So I'm going to come down here and I need to basically hold this flank down here because we've got a Progetto, a 103, a T-32, God knows what else back there. You can see that they've pushed a few heavies into the middle, the T-30, the Super Conqueror, and they've got the Malshin and some other cats and dogs up in the north. Looking like our IS-7, one of our best tanks, is working on the north flank. So I get some bounces in here early on, not working out very good for me. I finally get some damage in. And the even 90s lighting up our guys that are hanging out in the middle. So now it's down to myself, the Indian Panzer, and the Batchat 12T. I've got an ISU way back there who can get some shots in on occasion. So now I'm just trying to keep these guys honest over here. I don't want them to push up and over and take me out. If they peel me out of this south flank, then we got trouble. Like I said, they can then turn it towards the north. This Batchat, for some reason, wants to be exactly where I am constantly. I can't really figure that one out. T-32 gets hurt. Come into the side turret. We take it down. A little bit of spotting in there as well. You do have to watch out right here. I've showed multiple videos of this spot for being shot from the place about where the T-30 is. That can be a problem. And now the 103 wants to come in and do some work. He actually hits me, bounces, takes some hits. I need to back up because I don't want to come up too high and have the T-30 and Super Conqueror eat me alive. I finally take some hits. I'm getting some good bounces initially, but they're starting to pin me. Now I've got to back off, right? So this is the part of being an anchor on a flank. I can no longer stand in there. Those guys are hammering me, and eventually the artillery is going to start paying attention. One thing that helped us out quite a bit is somehow their Tier 10 artillery got seen. I assume the T-69 got in there and spotted him and he was taken down. They end up losing the north flank because we've got our strongest tanks over there, and that's part of the anchoring piece. A flank that's got the weaker kind of tanks, just me, a Batchat 12T, and used to be a Indian Panzer who is now dead. Sometimes you just have to hold on, right? Falling back is a good thing. If I got pushed too hard, I might try to do that. Unfortunately, on these flanks, there's not a lot of places to fall back. So for now, I'm just playing a patience game. Not really tearing up the damage or anything. The T-69 gets killed. There's a grill out there somewhere in the field. There's also a Sturv somewhere. 103-0 we got to deal with. Those are hard tanks to use on assault, but when you find out where they are, you'll understand why they weren't effective. And it's 5-3 right now. So here comes that 103. I'm just going to wait and see if one of those guys camps in the back and get him. About the time I decide to try to get up under his track, he gets nuked right there by the IS-3. IS-3's been clicking over here. He's taking fire, and that's completely understood. He's clicking right there again. He's going to have a hard time peeking around through those alleyways right there and keeping the enemy tanks in the front part of the city honest if he's continually taking fire from the side. So now that the 103 is down, I was just waiting to see if any other big kids show up. The Progetto's getting hammered, so he's spotted. I'm going to come up here and try to finish off this Progetto or help to make sure he goes away. I just do still have to watch out for the Super Conqueror and the T-30, but the good news is that the guys in town seem to be pushing him back. Look over there, no shots, that's fine. And I'm going to come out into the field. So this is an interesting sequence. I stop here. I know I'm spotted. I'm well in draw distance. Kind of curious why I hadn't taken any shots beforehand, but wham, I get hit. thing about that tank is it's got a really fast reload. I make another mistake here. I try to track him or at least get up underneath instead of continuing to go back. He's actually able to move, reload, turn, and shoot me in that time. But 1100 spotting later, there's a dead stir because I had enough guns sitting on the edge of the town shooting them. And that is part of anchoring a corner, is getting your spotting out there so all the guys that are hanging out in the back can take shots. I miss him with a little palsy, or I don't know what happened there, a little tremor. Now we're going to push into the field, and this is cleanup on aisle 2, as I always say. If you want your stats to look better than in garbage time like this, make sure you're getting out there and getting as many of those hit points as you can. Down goes the T-30, and that leaves a grill. So the 103 was camping on that hill back there. We move in, unknown if the grill was actually forward at any point. I assume he was forward enough to shoot the ridge, but we find him at the very back of the map at the end of the game, hiding out. He just gets absolutely hammered by everyone. I finally get the kill shot in there, and I find the artillery. Figured that's where he was since the T-69 didn't see him earlier when he killed the bat chat over there. Surprised he didn't get killed, but everyone's too far away, and down he goes. So not an amazing game as far as damage goes. 5 kills, 1,200 damage, 2,457 spotting. But more importantly, while I wouldn't say what I did absolutely won the game, when people start to talk about this, hey, it's a team game kind of thing, it really is to a large extent, even though individual performance is hugely important. As several of my videos have shown lately, there are some things you can do on maps that maybe don't necessarily show up in the stats but are important for your team to win. Just holding that flank, making sure that we didn't get flanked and then have the guys come from the south to the north into the town, which is how you win on this map. You need to overwhelm one of the flanks, turn the flank, and come in if you're on the assault. If you're on the defense, you need to make sure that all the flanks are held, and you don't push out until the situation that I saw where basically it didn't matter. Or you can flex back to the weakened flank because you've cleared that one off. But like I said, this is a situation where, hey, I only did 1,200 damage, but what I did was important to the win because of the understanding of the map and how it plays and what needs to be done. All right, guys, hope you liked what you saw. Hope you learned something. If you did, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Send your friends, and we will see you.